YouTubers! Mike Martin's here. Mike Martin's channel. Bringing you another very special edition of Trends in the Housing Market. Today is the 15th of March 2018, wherever you're watching this transmission. A majority of the world is in March 15th. I am still in March 14th, believe it or not. And the sun is setting outside. It has been a beautiful week here in Merritt, British Columbia, and we have a beautiful week ahead of us. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I want to thank all the subscribers. I want to thank all the supporters. I want to thank everyone that supports my store on eBay. I have a lot of people buying stuff from me on eBay. I want to thank them too. And they're like, wow, you have so many cool stuff my kids want. I just want to thank everybody out there for tuning in, being part of the chat, being part of the, trying to find a solution. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people saying I'm talking about all the negative stuff but not finding solutions. I'm trying my best to discuss and find solutions for people or for what's happening here. Trying our best, trying to put one and one. And, we want 1 + 1 = 2, not 1 + 1 = 14. And that's what's been happening lately. So, broadcasting out of Merritt, British Columbia. And again, the date is the 15th of March, 2018. We are getting so close to Q1. Q1 numbers are going to be coming out soon. I don't want anyone to forget that because Q1 is going to be their make or break, whether people jump on the bandwagon and buy housing or people wait on the sidelines and see what happens. I think Q1 is going to be ultimate decision. I can't wait to read the better dwelling articles after Q1. I can't wait to read the articles from the real estate agency. It's a good time to buy. It's a good time to sell. Sell, buy. I can't wait. And I want to send a special shout out to Brooke from Timmins, Ontario, who's watching this transmission and watches it every Wednesday while she's at work in the evenings. Night shift. Burning the midnight oil, she says. Listening to trends in the housing market. And, yeah. Okay, guys, before I kick off today's show, I want to let you guys know we got open lines. Lines are up and running. And I want to do a quick plug here for Old White Guy. Old White Guy is a really good channel. I invite you guys to check it out. He's more on the rants and lifestyle side of things. He gets almost 0 dislikes on his video. Planes, holograms. So someone's talking about chemtrails here in the chat section. It says chat section is starting to roll. And this Old White Guy, this is his channel, what it looks like. Check it out, Old White Guy. He's got 936 subscribers. I need to plug his channel because he's really good at his rants and his view on his lifestyle when it comes to politics, when it comes to understanding. So look at some of the topics here. Willow be do woo, conservative propaganda, India and Pakistan and Trudeau the idiot, Poland not alone anymore, despicable Ontario people. I invite you guys to check this guy out. And really good guy, really good channel. Strongly recommend. Hope he could call into the show and let us know how things are going along in his neck of the woods. And that is Old White Guy. So, let's go on to Better Dwelling's first article. So, people joining us from the East and West Coast, a lot of people are, I don't know how to say this, watching this on replay, which is really good. A lot of people watch this show on replay. Quite a bit, actually, believe it or not. I'm getting some trends in the housing market with over 77,000 minutes watched on one episode. It was like, this is like so old. Watch the newer stuff. Watch what's going on. Anyways, Canadian real estate sales have dropped the most since the Great Recession. Oh my goodness! I know this is it's an article from a day ago, but I gotta get this up there. Actually, it's from March 14. Canadian real estate has been on a tier in almost every market for almost a decade. Number from Canadian Real Estate Association, CREA, indicated those days are coming to an end. Real estate is seeing the price growth and sales of numbers fall across the country, for the first time in years. The substantial tapering of these trends likely indicates that the beginning of a national down cycle. So it's happening. It is happening across Canada. Think of board market trends as a large environmental factor. That is, it's easier to see growth when the environment is right. If everyone across the country has cheap and easy credit and consumer confidence is high, it'll be easier to convince people to spend more on homes. If all those factors are in the SHITTER, it's all a little bit more difficult. It's often helpful to see how the broad markets is doing, and to see your local market is fighting the uphill battle. Real estate prices are in a down cycle, and it's been happening for a while now. So people are commenting, Stouffville in the house, and it keeps going on. Stouffville in the house, Stouffville, Ontario. If anyone hasn't been there, small town, 45 minutes northeast of Toronto. I think it's northeast. Real estate prices cycle down. Largest drop in real estate sales since the Great Recession. And they're talking about the 2012-ish one, 2008 one. If everybody remembers that. Canadian real estate sales declined last year. CREA logged 516,257 sales in 2017. A 4.5% decline compared to the year before. This is the first sales decline since 2012. And the largest since 2008. A decline after a record year isn't a huge deal. The largest decline since the Great Recession, now that's interesting. The government, largest decline since the Great Recession, now that is interesting. The government had to install new liquidity measures to preserve prices back then. Fun fact, financial innovation is always a factor in the bubbling of asset markets. So, Better Dwelling, I love you guys. Please, guys, check out and subscribe to this page. They got some really good articles on a semi-daily basis. And lots of people joining in on the comment section and starting to roll. And that's what's happening. Prices dropping across Canada. Let's move on. This is a really important article. It's from yesterday, too. Are Chinese investors moving away from the Canadian housing market? This survey says yes. A lot of investors are doing from China is they're moving down to the stateside, and they're picking up $100,000, $200,000 properties. And because America has its constitution is made to protect its people, but it's also made to go against their people. So them implying foreign buyers tax, foreign this, foreign that, will be impossible against their constitutional rights. So Chinese investment in Canadian property could be about to take a nosedive. That's because, according to a recent survey, new regulations are making many would-be buyers think twice getting into Canadian housing market. Last August, the Chinese government implemented new rules aimed at curbing foreign investment. Now, a new survey by commercial realtor Cushman and Wakefield has found that Chinese investors are having a harder time seeing foreign property deals in 2018. Nearly half of the Chinese investors survey found it extremely difficult to make acquisitions, while 10% said it was impossible. Those findings are backed up by the latest research by the University of Alberta China Institute, which has found the value of major Chinese investments in Canada real estate is becoming smaller. In 2016, major investments were worth $3 billion. In 2017, they just totaled $1.47 billion. So that's what's happened. The Chinese are slowly drifting away from parking their money in Canada. Someone saying, Duck D's is saying, holy flipping hot dogs, Mike Martins is live streaming. Of course I'm live streaming. Trends in the housing market every Wednesday. I might do Sunday nights. Rants and lifestyle, discussing what's going on in the world and just maybe having open lines. So someone's asking me, where is this leading? A slight correction move. You know what? It's basically, this is too little too late. This CSIS and the RCMP knew that there was a lot of dirty money coming into Canada in the early 2000s, and a lot of it was being parked in Canada. They knew about it, but they did not. They knew about it, but no one acted on it. So the Canadian proper pretty much has been toast. And when I say Canadian proper, I have to always correct myself. That's people that come from all over the world. I don't care from where, but come and actually pay into the Canadian infrastructure, pay their taxes, send their kids to school, the whole 9 yards. People that contribute to society. Okay, that's what I mean by Canadian proper. Everybody from from everywhere. I'm from Portugal. My wife's from the Philippines. We're all contributing to make this a better society. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. Canadian home prices dip in February as Toronto market pulls back. So again, Canadian home prices dipped in February after 2 consecutive months of gains, weighed by declines in Toronto and a number of other cities. Data showed on Wednesday. Back again with the pretty much same articles from last week. Not the same exact articles, but kind of rewording and rephrasing articles. And you know what it is? Is they want to start calming investors. Because now people that buy homes now, they're not considered homeowners. They're considered investors. You know what I'm saying? So, people commenting on my videos here on YouTube. I'm just going to close that there. The retreat in Toronto prices, which had climbed in January, may have been due to buyers rushing into the market ahead of the new mortgage rules that came in effect at the start of the year, the report said. In Vancouver, one of the most expensive markets in the country, prices rose only 0.4% to hit a record. However, the unadjusted figures, which are not smooth to remove volatility, showed prices were down 1.3% in line with cooler home sales last month. So people looking at the show, just tuning into the show, Q1 is almost here. After Q1 numbers come out, first week of April, we're going to find out what really is going on. People waiting on the sidelines, waiting to buy. People looking to sell. What do? Wait till Q1, and you guys are going to see what's going to happen. Yes, someone's commenting here in the comment section saying, unfortunately, this correction is going to affect everyone. Every single human being living in Canada or to be born in Canada is going to be affected by this housing correction or crash or whatever they want to call it, to not create fear in the investors. Because that's what it's become. A lot of people are leaving the big cities. I don't know if you remember the article I read for you guys yesterday. Or day before yesterday. Was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. Where 10,000 white people, 10,000 white people and 800 Aboriginals have left the city of Vancouver, and X amount in Toronto. I forgot what the numbers were in Toronto. And Aboriginals and whites in Toronto leaving to live in small towns outside of Toronto. Same thing with Vancouver. And Vancouver saw about roughly 10,000 Caucasian people leave the big city of Vancouver to move to smaller towns in the Okanagan. I did it myself. I'm living in the small town of Merritt, British Columbia. Small enough for me, big enough for me to get around and do my thing. You know what I'm saying? So, who else is commenting here? Lots of people in the comment section. Who else is getting a shout out today? So I already said Brooke from Timmins, Ontario. Shout out to Laura B from New Jersey, who also watches me at work. Wow, a lot of people watching this at work, eh? So people are commenting right now on some of my videos. Someone just commented right now. In Australia, you can't walk away from a mortgage. That's true. We could get to that later if you guys want. McLean's BC real estate speculation tax will reserve homes for the ultra-rich. And guys, when they say ultra-rich and the homes and stuff, a lot of people living in the southern states, in the United States, a lot of the people living in other parts of the world where they're not really affected by this housing crisis, when they think of ultra-rich, they think of like helicopter pads on the roof, an airfield to land your plane in the backyard, a golf course attached to your house, a 25-bedroom house, palatial mansion. That's what people think when they... No, this is like the house I'm living in here in Vancouver. That's like $4 million. Okay, aerial image of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, Stanley Park, downtown Broad Street, Bridge of Waterfront. If Canadians want a case study on how governments make a problem worse, cast an eye on British Columbia and housing. The provincial government, both under the previous Liberals and now the NDP, have continually kept on enacting policies such as rent control and now speculation tax that exuberates a tight rental market and high real estate prices. Supply problems and slum promotion, the problem of rental control. So this is a really good article. It's very long, and I brought it up because I want you guys to take a gander at it. From bombed out rental control to speculation tax. Rent control is bad enough on its own. Now British Columbia plans to add the control housing damage with its new speculation tax, announced in the recent provincial budget. As of 2019, the new tax will amount to a 2-year % property tax on secondary homes. The aim is to tax speculation and also homes that might sit empty for a part of the year, summer vacation homes, to try to force them into the rental market. So look at this. It gets into really good, a lot of good stories here on this one. A lot of picture this type story, or imagine this type story. Really good, really good. It's called BC's Real Estate Speculation Tax will reserve homes for the ultra rich. It's by Maclean's. I invite everyone to read this article. Opinion story. It's interesting point of view to see what's going on. Let's move on. Canada among 3 economies in the world at risk of banking crisis. Wow, I wonder which other economies are in this. Let's find out. And you know why? Because they're probably all tied to the housing bubble. Canada's central banker raises a red flag for Canada, along with China and Hong Kong, for its household maxed out credit cards and high debt levels. China's having a huge property housing crisis right now. Well, they've been having it for the last 9 years. And Canada and Hong Kong, the 3 economies most at risk of banking crisis. It's happening, people. According to early warning indicators compiled by the Bank of International Settlements. Canada, whose economy grew last year at the fastest pace since 2011, was flagged thanks to its households of maxed out credit cards and high debt levels in wider economy. Household borrowing is also seen as a risk factor for China, Hong Kong, according to the study. The indicators currently point to the buildup of risks in several economies. Analysis Claudio Barro and Mathis Demuro wrote in the BIS latest quarterly review published on Sunday. The study offered some surprising results. For example, Italy wasn't shown at being at risk despite its struggles with slow-growing economy, and the banks are mirrored in bad debts. While China was flagged, a key warning indicator known as the credit to gross domestic product gap. I spoke about this last week in one of my shows, about this big gap in domestic product. Someone's asking me here in the comments, can you summarize for new viewers what is happening means? What is happening? Well, basically, everyone's being bought out of the market. Every middle class has disappeared. It's called working poor now. And it's a huge problem. We allowed, with our lax rules, investors to come in and buy out our futures. Our kids have no chance. Our great-grandchildren have no chance of living the Canadian dream because we're bought out. The housing market has bought out our futures. Held back on people getting married, held back on people starting families, held back on people laying roots because of this housing crisis. And it's going to affect every Canadian right now, and what is happening in the Canadian system, Australian system, the UK system. The housing market is just overwhelmed with laws and regulations and trying to protect, do I believe they're trying to protect their people? They are now, but they're starting realizing that a lot of people are being bought out of the market and leaving the country. All our nurses are heading south. All our doctors and plastic surgeons are heading south. All people of engineers and everybody, they're heading south because they could buy a house for 200 grand, a good house for 200 grand, and still live a decent life. So somebody commented here, no, someone's saying here, seems like every country has a debt crisis for a couple of decades. No, it's majority of English-speaking countries with free markets that allowed with their lax rules. If you notice, every English-speaking country is struggling with this problem. Jamaica, they have, go into YouTube, Jamaica housing crisis. Go look up on YouTube how bad it is in Jamaica right now. It is so bad. You guys have no idea how much Jamaica basically sold out. Everyone's saying, oh, we lost Grouse Mountain. We're losing parts of Whistler's. We're selling it out to investors. We're losing all these parks in Canada and mines and everything. Jamaica doesn't even own its own airport anymore. It's foreign owned. Everything. It's out of control, and it's being sold out to the highest bidder. So, okay, someone's commenting here. Okay, a lot of comments going through here. Yeah, single income. I did a video yesterday about single income people living in Canada. Someone says, Jimmy Anderson, who is in Massachusetts, is saying, Mike Martins, look at Boston and its housing market crash. I'll look at it right now. Let me finish this article, people, and we'll look at the Boston housing crash. Usually don't put other cities outside of Seattle and Portland because they're the west, the gateway to the west, and a lot of investors come in that way through the back door, if it was to say. That's why those states are completely becoming abandoned. That's why so many people are leaving California, so many people are leaving Oregon, so many people are leaving Washington State, because they can't afford to live in the West anymore. So let me just put this back like it was. Okay, let me finish this article really quick. So basically, China is looking at a crash here. The gap is the difference between the credit and the GDP ratio and its long-term trend. A blowout in the number can signal a credit growth in excessive and financial bust may be looming. In China, gap fell 16.7% the third quarter in 2017, down from a peak 28.9%. So a lot of investors have been coming to Canada. I don't know if you guys remember the article I read for you guys, that they're releasing condo sales in China before it gets released to people living in Canada. And they were making fun of how the Canadian can't even afford to live in their own cities, and that was pretty bad. A couple of seminars they had out in China making fun of Canadians, how they couldn't afford their own real estate. So let's see what's happening here. What is happening in Boston, Massachusetts? I'm not finding anything here. Here we go. That's from July 2017. Someone's going to have to send me a link. I'm getting a lot of Scotland stuff here. Boston, Massachusetts housing crash. Nor'easters being rescued. Nothing here. Not seeing here. Nothing for... Okay, let's move on here in case someone sends me a link. Housing market on upswing in central Alberta. Alberta is one of the more affordable provinces to live in. After a slowdown in November and December, typical for the holiday season, the housing market here in central Alberta is picking up, according to most recent stats from the Central Alberta's Realtors Association. Sales activities was up 7% across Alberta January compared to the month last year, and according to local real estate agent Remax Laurie Lacombe, is following the suit with a trend. So it's good. It's good to know that some parts of Canada need a little bit of a pickup, and it's good to see that Alberta is getting a little bit hot, in a good way, Because if the oil gets back and, if Canada wasn't so heavily dependent on oil, our economy would be doing a bit better and not so dependent on the housing market. And if people want to send me links, you can follow me on Instagram, or you don't have to follow me, just message me on Instagram. You could find me. And you could send me a link to what you want me to read. You could also send it to me on my Facebook fan page. If you go to the top of the page, you'll see my fan page. Yes, it is in the Portuguese language. Do not panic. I make documentaries in Portuguese. Don't freak out, because it auto-replies in Portuguese. Send me the link. I'll see it. There's a lot of people that send me messages on there. And Insider says, let's talk facts, no emotional talk. Well, I'm getting what is being handed to us in our media. So let's look at here. LA is seizing tiny homes for the homeless. Why? So someone sent me this 3 times, and it was sent to me from another person from LA County, named Timothy, actually, here, sent me this. And the comments are going nuts. The rent is too high in Massachusetts. Mike, people are leaving. I believe you. All those cities that are overpriced, everybody is leaving. The whole West Coast is pretty much in mass exodus. From San Diego all the way up to Vancouver, Canada. Everyone's moving east, migrating east. Wagons east, not wagons west. Escalating their battle to stamp out unprecedented spread of street encampments, city officials have begun seizing tiny houses from homeless people in South Los Angeles. This is horrible, people. So this is becoming, these people are being beaten down so hard, you give them any opportunity to be normal, it lifts them. I'm getting complaints from the constituents who have to walk on the streets to avoid them. I mean, come on. We're all human beings. None of us asked to be in these situations. You understand that, right? Unfortunately, these structures can be hazardous to individuals living in them and the community at large. Give me a break. Give me a break. And someone is commenting here in Portuguese. Esse mercado embrulhado daqui em Toronto vai para baixar com certeza. Saudades. And he's, yeah, it's true. It's people are talking about the market in Toronto. We're going to get to that in a sec. Let's keep going here. So there is a lot of problems happening in the West Coast, and the articles that are being sent to me, they're flooding in like crazy. So if anyone has a Massachusetts article, I want to know what's going on down in UMass, Attleboro, Seekonk area. So let's look at this. This was sent to me by someone that actually works at the Seattle Magazine. This is very important because I do mention Seattle a lot and King County in my articles that I read to you guys because of the importance of how the pricing just went tripled, quadrupled, literally within a year. 14 Seattle neighborhoods from the most affordable to $1 million homes. So here they are. So what is in the $1 million neighborhoods? So let's start with the most affordable. Rainier View, South Park, and Northgate are still under $500,000. And then in the $500,000 range are Brington, Rocks Hill, and Holly Park. And Holly Park and Rocks Hill, last year around this time, the average house was like $279,000, $300,000. Okay? And I know that in Northgate, the average house was $225,000. It's $408,000 now, a year and a half ago. This is not normal number. This is not normal. And let's look at neighborhoods with homes about $750,000. Maple Leaf, $749,000. Genesee, $750,000. Central District, $751,000. And Fremont, $767,000. The average home in Fremont, in that neighborhood, a year and a half ago, 2 years, you could check, was just in and around $500,000. Now it's at $767,000. So that's a lot in a year and a half to move. You know what I'm saying? And the $1 million neighborhoods, Olympic Manor, Medora, Healthwell Hills, and Montague. A lot of them were in and around the $800,000 area about a year ago, year and a half ago. So the price of housing in in Washington State put Tacoma, Washington, as one of the hottest cities in the United States, like growing Tacoma. And the comments are going there. Okay, someone's telling me to look up the Jefferson Hill Apartments in Farmington. Look at the rent. Are we looking at the Farmington district in California, or are we looking at the Farmington district in is there one in Massachusetts? All right, that's it with that article. Let's see what happens here. Let's see if there's any news on it. Oh, wow. Okay. Recent home sales in Boston and Cambridge. Are these things old? How old is this article? That's too old. Sorry, it's too old. You guys have to send me links before the show. I can't look them up because I won't find the right thing right away. Send me links to the shows, guys. So there's a lot of people saying that the markets will not crash. And there's a lot of people in the comment section saying that in the comments saying that it will crash. So there's also the markets. You got to take a good look at what's happening in the markets too, outside the housing market. You got to look at the equity in the markets. You got to see how volatile gold is right now. You got to see what the price of oil is at. A lot of things are tied into the market, and housing is just one little staple of it. But the housing market, a lot of people don't know. Black Thursday or whatever, the big Black Tuesday, the big stock market crash in the United States in the 20s. In the roaring 20s, a lot of people don't know that it was triggered by the housing market. Triggered that mass runoff and sell-off of the huge stock market crash in the United States. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know it was housing that actually triggered it. But so, yeah, I'm wearing the tie today, guys. I gotta wear a nice tie today. I don't like to look good. Okay, new home price hike, 777,000 in Seattle, 950,000. New price hikes. And I'm trying to wake people up to tell them that nowadays, in an English-speaking country, if you buy a house, you are an investor. You are no longer buying it for any other reason but investment purposes. This is beyond anything. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Less than zero. Let me zoom this out a bit so you guys can see it properly. So this is number of sold in 1 year price changes. Click on the area for details on prices of number of homes sold. Look at that. 18% or greater. It's crazy. It's crazy. Home sales data for February show median home prices smashed records in Seattle and the east side. Hopeful buyers won't have much luck elsewhere as median home prices grew at least 15% in Puget Sound country. Listen to this. You guys think I'm kidding when I was reading this article back here, how I said the house was $200,000 cheaper a year and a half ago? Watch this. New monthly home sales data released on Tuesday showed Seattle's median single home family price hit $777,000 on February, $20,000 more than the previous all-time high set a month prior. Okay? $20,000 more than the previous month all-time high set a month prior. Not a year prior. Oh, my house went up 20 grand in a year. Not 6 months, a month prior. You know what a house is really worth? Someone just asked me. A house is supposed to be worth a measuring or a tool used in the turn of the century. You buy a house worth 4 times your income. That's what you should be able to afford to buy, is something that's 4 times your income. Okay? You're thinking, wow, that'd be like $160,000 house. There's no homes for $160,000. Yeah, if you go to Louisiana, there is. If you go to New Mexico, there is. If you go to, there's still homes that are, within people's reach. That's why everyone's leaving the West Coast and migrating east. I'm going to say this again, just so I make myself clear here. Seattle's medium single-family home price hit $777,000 in February of this year. $20,000 more than the previous all-time high set the month prior. Nothing goes up that much. So that's what's happening in Seattle right now. Look at this. Look at this percentage change. Holy crap. And when I was giving you the numbers, I'm spot on with the money. Look at that. Southeast King County, you could still buy something for about $183,000. But look at the Seattle area. Went from $474 to $535. 12% change within a year. And these are condo sales, and these are the median prices. Wow. Wow. It's phenomenal. Very good article, guys. I want you guys to take a gander at this. I know if you don't live in Seattle, it doesn't affect you, but it's going to affect everybody. And what's happening in the Washington state, the article's called New Home Prices Highs 777 in Seattle, 950 on the east side. I really urge everyone to come and take a look at this article because it's worth the look, because it's a blueprint for other American cities that are not paying attention to what's happening. This is the blueprint right here. If you're living in Missouri, if you're living in Buddy out in Massachusetts is messaging me here, over here in the message saying that it's crazy in Massachusetts. In Boston area in Massachusetts, no one can afford to live there. People work 2-3 jobs and they can't even afford to pay rent. So this is a blueprint for the rest of America to see what's going to happen. It's going to head east. It's going to go to Montana. It's going to go to North Dakota. It's going to go to New Mexico. It's going to go to Nevada. You know how many people left California to live in Nevada? Like 40,000 in the last 6 months to pick up real estate there and live there. Jimmy Anderson saying I'm being censored. No, I'm not censoring nobody. The chat's open, buddy. No one's censored on this thing. No one's censored on this channel. So this article was sent to me from my buddies down in Portland, Oregon. Homes are affordable than ever in many cities, but not Portland. So 3-hour drive south of Seattle. What do you hit? Portland, Oregon. Thanks to low mortgage rates, homes in most metros are actually more affordable today than they were in the 1990s. Portland is a rare exception. Let's see if they get into some numbers here for us, some statistical numbers. So Portland's getting up there. So in Portland Metro, the median price for a home sold in January is $390,000. Okay, this is January of 2018, $390,000. The average house in the Portland metro area of January 2015 was around $165,000. So it jumped that much. And you're going to start seeing it like a spider. It starts in Portland just like it did in Seattle. It starts in downtown Seattle, and then it starts going up to Tacoma, to Olympia, to all the other cities like a spider. Same thing. It's going to start in Portland, Oregon, and it's going to start working its way out like a spider to Salem, to other different parts of Portland. Apartments. Oops. Advertising. Apartments and office buildings are shown under construction on the bridge in March 9th, 2017. Portland housing officials have proposed reviving a property tax breaks for developers, including affordable housing projects. Now, can I ask you guys a question? And I want to be really... Why would they need to do affordable housing projects if the average house is $390,000? You see where I'm going here? people aren't looking at, for example, a city like Vancouver, where the average home is like 1.2 million or whatever, this ridiculous amount of money. Like, 390,000 is still manageable at a good rate. If you're paying a 1% rate, you're looking at about $9,000 in finance charges. It's not that bad. It's kind of manageable if you have a decent job, right? But anyways, let's move on. Everyone's talking about, a lot of people are jumping into the comment section. Steve the plumber just tuned in. Steve, you just tuned in, buddy. You're missing a good show. Let's move on to Derek Rants. I like this guy. His name is Derek. He's got some hit and miss videos. I like watching them. He's a really good guy. He is a true Canadian. He's a really good guy. I really want you guys to check out what he has. He's got some positive outlook on things, some negative outlook on things. He's I don't know. He watches my videos too. I watch a lot of his stuff, and he's giving a good insight on what's happening in the province of Ontario. And check him out. See what he's got going on. It's called Derek Rants, and the spelling is D-E-R-E-K Rants. And he's always posting stuff. And strongly recommend you guys to check him out. Okay, guys, this is an important. I think London is going to be the blueprint for the rest of the English-speaking world, the London, UK, because they've been in a decline in housing prices for the last year and a half. They've been seeing declines and no inclines. London has been having this mass exodus of people leaving to Middle England, or whatever you want to call it, to Middle England because it's more affordable. Oh no, this is not the Sun that you read, buddy. This is from the UK. Someone's commenting in the comment section. The Sun, Mike? Really? No, this is from the UK company, and this is a UK edition, and I want to read this article because it's interesting. Pay attention. Property squeeze. London house prices dropped 15% in a year, cutting $100,000 off property prices in Wandsworth. The average home in Wandsworth, which include most of Clapham, Balham, and Putney, is now worth $685,000, down from $805,000 a year ago. London, England will be the English blueprint for the rest of the English-speaking countries. You're going to start seeing the multi-million dollars area start dropping in prices because there's no one buying them anymore. Because the Canadian proper or the English proper or the Australian proper can't afford to buy them anymore. When you can't afford to buy them, guess what happens? They're not changing hands anymore. So things get stale and they sit. So here's the drops right here. All across London. So this is Wandsworth. So Kingston and Chelsea, up 4%. City of Westminster, down 4%. Camden down 1.9%. City of London down 10.8%. Because the London proper can't afford to buy, so they move up north. And that's what's happening. Richmond upon the Thames, 4%. Wandsworth, 14.9%. Islington, 8.8%. And Hackney, down 3%. Across the capital in general, house prices fell yet this time by £4,602, or 0.8%. So this is the mainstream media in England. This is the mainstream media in England having to break the news. So right now, you're not getting a lot of the mainstream media producing any of this stuff. Right now in North America. You're not getting this. Not yet. Q1 numbers are going to be the definition of what's going to happen. After the first quarter numbers, you just watch and see. So here you have a highlighted section here showing you the different quarters and how house prices in the 10 most expensive London boroughs have changed. So you start to see the drop in the more expensive areas, and then you start to see a trickle effect going into the more least expensive areas. Let's move on. Edinburgh and Glasgow house prices set to soar. Really? Scotland? Well, if you've been following my show for the last friggin' 5 months, I've been putting up a lot of Scotland articles out there in Edinburgh and Glasgow. The price of housing is taking off. So if you're a real estate agent and you want to ride the coattails of this housing crisis, move to Scotland. Anyways, lots of comments going on here in the comments section. Edinburgh and Glasgow house prices set to soar. The house prices in Edinburgh and Glasgow are set to soar by 22% and 17% over the next 5 years to 2022, according to the new research from the Lending Popularity Consultancy. The reason why I'm bringing this up, because 22%, okay, by 2022, next 5 years, is very respectively. It's a very conservative number. It does kind of offset a bit of the, it kind of works, but not like Seattle. 20 grand from last month growth. No, this is more of a conservative, because the average house in Scotland right now is still trending at about anywhere from 90,000 to 190,000 pounds, depending on where you buy. So someone's calling in, and I hope it's not a crank call. Nope, it's from Vancouver. Hello, you're live.
Nick Pizza here. I just want to know why I should drop off.
Hello?
I'm sure I find your house.
Oh, it's a crank call. So it's a crank call, guys. I get crank calls in at the show sometimes. I think it's cute, but, you know, whatever. It's. I still have an IP tracer on. I got the IP number there. They tried calling private, but there's an IP address there. Oh, they even installed a fake phone number, too. It's one of those apps where you can put a fake phone number. But unless they have an IP changer thingy, I don't know if they do, but... House prices in Edinburgh, so this is an average 2.9% per annum for the next 5 years. This is normal. Against inflation, this is normal. So Edinburgh and Scotland, Edinburgh and in Glasgow, this is good for Scotland. This is... You know, if the houses start at £1 million, who's going to live there? So, this is normal. I wanted to show this to you guys because it's by the Scotsman. It's a very good, reputable source. It's a really good article because this is what a normal housing market should look like. Mag's touting Portugal as is an inexpensive destination for expats. Yep. I'm probably gonna go to Portugal this summer. Anyways, Auckland housing market losing steam, says Real Estate Institute of New Zealand. And you guys have no idea what's been happening in New Zealand. The horror stories I brought up on this channel, people calling in from New Zealand, watching my show Down Under. The amount of calls I got in from people just telling me how disgusting it's become with the meth testing homes. People being put up in hotels because they're sleeping rough. It's phenomenal. Auckland's overheated housing market is slowing, with price growth lagging other main centers, according to the latest monthly data from the Real Estate Institute of New Zealand. The median number of days it took to sell a property in Auckland gauge underlying increased by 6 days to 49 days. 2 years ago at this time, when I was doing these articles, there was houses in Auckland that would sell within 6 hours of being listed, They would list the house, and they would organize people to come in and start to auction off the property. And some people were selling their homes in Auckland $400,000 above asking price. Some people sold their houses in Auckland, New Zealand for 3 times the requested value of the house. And anyways, it says that someone's $2. I don't know what this is. I think this is this power chat thing. Sent me $2. Wow, someone sent me $2. Thanks. That's going to go towards everything that's sent to this channel specifically, and AdSense and RedTube or whatever it is, RedSense or Red Views or whatever they are, through it, is all donated to the women's shelter in Vancouver that I've been donating to for the last 7 years now. Yeah, it's been that long. Anyways, so 49 days in February. And that people in Auckland, New Zealand right now should be blessed and breathing a sigh of relief, because it looks like the housing market is not only going to cool off, but it's going to come down. It's going to come down big time. For the amount of people sleeping rough in Auckland, New Zealand, I especially the ones being put up in hotels. Yeah. And then someone says, go gamble at a casino. Someone's asking me, how do we get to this point, Mike? Follow the money. It's money. It's money. Everybody wants. Everyone's forgetting. Money has put us in this... Everyone asks me, oh, you're Christian. Who do you think the Antichrist is? It's money. Money is the control of everything. You follow the money. You want to know what happened on 9/11. You want to know what happened on anything. I don't know. This housing crisis. You want to know what happened. Who killed JFK? You want to know what happened to this. You want to know what happened. Follow the money. The money is always your breadcrumb trail to what is happening. You don't follow witnesses. You don't even follow... You follow the paper trail of money, and that will take you to the root of the problem. It's always money. We've sold ourselves to money. We have basically disowned everybody in our lives over money. We've cut off friends in our lives because of money. We've fired or we've treated people poorly because of money. We've talked bad about people or employees or ex-employees because of money. We've shamed companies or corporations because of money. Corporations have shamed us because of money. Incoming call, 778. Hello, you're live.
Hey.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
This is Tina.
Hi, how are you?
I live next door to you.
Oh, you live next door.
You haven't really noticed me.
No, no, balls. Anyways, another crank caller. That was Tina. Money is everything. Yeah, money is a tool. Money is a tool. But money is also... It's destroyed families, businesses. It's destroyed lifestyles. It's destroyed people's imagination to think outside. Money has destroyed. It's become... I don't know. That's just my opinion. You follow the money, it gets to the greed. And then people... I don't know. I'm not even going to go there right now. New Zealand proposes ban on wealthy foreign investors buying property. So, you see this little house right here? You could probably see it on the stream. See that house right there? That's like $1.4 million. So people living in other parts of the world would think, that house is $1.4 million. He's right beside the other house. That's $1.4 million in New Zealand. Okay? The average $300,000 house, $250,000 house. Oh, it's Metro PCS. Yeah, Metro PCS. Metro PCS and FU are two people Go ahead. Steve wants to call in. Call in. Hurry up. Which bank will fail first, Kaylin? Deutsche Bank is the first one to go. And it's going to create a huge domino effect. I spoke about this on last week's show. Deutsche Bank, people are calling for their gold because they have gold certificates that they own an ounce or 10 ounces of gold. And people aren't getting their gold because Deutsche Bank is refusing them to fill their orders. That's a sign that a bank is failing. Too big to fail banks are going to fail. Deutsche Bank is going to go first in Europe, in the central of Europe, and it's going to spread out to the rest of Europe. And then you're going to see other Canadian banks take a fall because of them being so heavily dependent on the housing market to make ends meet. And then you're going to start seeing, I think, RBS, Royal Bank of Scotland. You're going to see Bank of Australia fall. You're going to start seeing them all like a huge domino effect. And that's how it got here. Money put us here, and then money will take us out of this because money is like a hit and miss. It could do bad or it could do good. And lately, it's been blurring or delusionalizing our conscience and morals of what we're supposed to stand for as human beings. We're forgetting that. And that's what's happening right now in New Zealand. They're proposing everything. No more foreign buyers, no more rich investors, no more nothing. Because the New Zealand proper is living in such a problem right now. The house prices have surged more than 60% in the past decade. 6-0. Aimed record of immigration and construction shortfall. They always blame it on supply and demand. In the biggest city of Auckland, prices have almost doubled since 2007. The average of more than New Zealand $1 million that has made it more difficult for first-time home buyers to enter the market and driven up rents, leaving increasing numbers of poor people homeless. There's no working poor anymore. It's not middle class. It's working poor. And I want to send a shout out to Doug Cooper, who's watching me in New Zealand. And someone's calling in. I hope this is not another crank call. Anonymous. Hello, you're on the show. So someone's playing music here. I think that was Metro PCS. I think someone was trying to call in with a real number. Anyways, I'm getting bombarded with crank calls here. Yeah, gold is cheap right now. Someone's commenting in the comment section. It's at $1,325 an ounce. I think it's going to hit the $1,500 mark soon. Steve, was that you that called? Call back. I was just hearing rap music. I think that was PCS calling from, looks like it's coming from California. Riverside, California. Anyways. I had a thing I was looking up here for in my thoughts. It's not here. I wanted to show you guys. Lost Canuck. Two-time world champ. Okay, incoming call. Please be from Ontario. Please be from Ontario. Please be from... Hello, you're live. Some gin and juice there by Snoop Doggy Dogg. So there's a lot of gin and juice going on. Yeah, guys, guys, hear me out, please. Gold and silver at a good buy right now. Silver's at 16 an ounce. I remember buying silver, I think, at 11 an ounce, like a few years back. It comes in spurts. Gold and silver is good to hedge against inflation. Okay, guys? It's a good 20% of your portfolio should be gold and silver. I am not a financial consultant because I don't know nothing. But I do own my house free and clear and my business and my cars. And I owe zero to everybody. And I've never ripped off a soul in my life. Alright, so there was a lot of gin and juice happening there. That was coming from Long Beach, California. So someone's saying don't waste your time on silver, get gold. Platinum's even better. Again, silver and gold are good to hedge against inflation. So they're good hedges. 20% of your portfolio is a healthy amount. It's a healthy amount of your portfolio. 5-10% cash. I don't recommend too much cash in your portfolio. All right, let's see if this is the right person calling in. This might be some gin and juice. Again, it's a private caller. Hello, you're live.
Hey there, Mike. It's Steve.
Oh, thank God it wasn't Snoop Doggy Dogg.
No, and thank God it wasn't that other lady, Tina, your long-lost neighbor that was talking like she wanted to do bad things to you, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know who Tina is. There's no neighbor named Tina. I know all my neighbors on my street, so I think I know all my neighbors within a 3-block radius. I don't think there's a single Tina here.
Well, just for the record, if a Tina does end up moving into the neighborhood, you officially have a stalker.
Yes! So, what's going on in your neck of the woods? What's going on, buddy?
Quite a bit, actually. Luxury homes have basically taken a nosedive. I'm not sure if you saw that. I do apologize. I was tied up with some work, so I couldn't get on to see the majority of your show, but I'll definitely have to rewatch it.
I discussed the decline of housing in London and Ontario and London, England, is in the huge decline, and a couple of other major cities that are in a huge nosedive, like Auckland, New Zealand, and Ontario.
Okay, you didn't actually. Did you hear about the luxury market in the Greater Toronto area in terms of sales falling a ridiculous amount? I think it's about 60% in the GTA.
Yes, I read it. It was one of my first articles with the better dwelling, how it's the most since the Great Recession.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic article. I'm not sure who actually wrote that, but definitely made some good points on that.
Yeah, and then it ties into the second article that I read, saying, are Chinese investors moving away from the Canadian housing market? This survey says yes.
Well, what do you think?
Well, I think a lot of investors, I think with the capital control outflow protection, the Chinese government is seeing a mass, a mass runoff on its wealth. And they had to put in these capital controls to protect the Chinese and the China, because China was going to end up going bankrupt because everyone was removing their money from the country. Now, are people with the capital outflows being tightened? Yes. I don't think they're leaving. I think it's just they're having a hard time bringing money into the country.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing a lot of foreign money that comes from China, where they got those loans in terms of no questions asked, as long as you had 30% skin in the game in terms of a down payment. You were basically given the mortgage, and what's happening now is I know of two situations where they're having a hard time making their mortgage payments because they can't seem to get the money into Canadian soil. Therefore, they're in a little bit of a panic, but clear heads will prevail, and I'm sure that they'll find a way, whatever way that is, actually.
Yeah, well, to be like the capital outflow that was moving out of China in the last 5 years is in the multiple trillions. People have no idea how much left it's just phenomenal how much money left the country within the last 5 years. People would never believe it. I mean, they could pay off probably half the world's debt from the amount of outflow that left China in the last 5 years. It's phenomenal. And then I tied into the next article, Canadian home prices dip in February as Toronto market pulls back. So remember, this is from the Globe and Mail, and you know how the Globe and Mail likes to ease the investors?
Yeah, I'm one of their biggest supporters in terms of mainstream media, or Globe and Mail for that fact, is realtors, and realtors actually advertising. Now we're losing a lot of dead weight realtors as we speak because, let's face it, nothing's really moving unless it's a box in the sky. But yeah, they definitely sugarcoat, and I have reason to believe wherever their numbers are coming from, whether they're from a credible source such as Treb, and I'm being very, very sarcastic and facetious, or not, I think those numbers are artificially suppressed.
Oh, definitely. The best part of putting out results and numbers, you could actually sway them in any way, any means possible to favor your agenda.
Absolutely, and brings me to my next point. Did you read Jason Mercer's most report? He is the guy that represents Treb. He's their marketing director, has a what I like to call a minor speech impediment. Sorry, I shouldn't say that about the guy, but in any event, neither here nor there. I'm sure he's a nice guy outside of work, but I found it actually ironic. I made a bet with a couple of people, and I said, things are changing, and the tide is, rolling out, and when the Toronto Real Estate Board no longer can compare 2018 numbers to 2017 numbers in their favor, and then ultimately they now have to basically compare 2018 numbers to 2016 numbers. A problem.
Woo! Yeah.
I'm going to encourage everybody to go see the video on that Jason Mercer put out. The guy is completely full of crap. But I mean, hey, he's got a job to do, and that's to keep realtors employed in the game going.
Well, you got to keep the game going because remember, our economy is heavily based on student loans, mortgages, unsecured debt. That's what our economy is based off of us paying these debts off. That's how we're built. I mean,
absolutely.
We were once built off a bit of oil, nickel, copper. Until we sold all our mines off to foreign countries.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. We definitely cut our own throats there. But I just want to be clear. Treb is now basically no longer comparing 2018 numbers to 2017 numbers. They are now retracting and comparing 2018 numbers to 2016 numbers, calling or I guess suggesting 2017 to be an anomaly.
Okay, Steve. I want to ask you something. I know you didn't see this part of the show, and so you're talking about this, how they're comparing numbers. Okay, so have you been watching how I've been talking about Washington State, Oregon, and California for the longest time?
Yes.
Okay, this is very important because I believe that Seattle or Washington State, Tacoma, all that area is going to be the blueprint for the rest of America. Now, listen to this, okay? Because you're talking about comparing numbers from 2 years back. What about comparing numbers from a month ago? Listen to this, okay? Ready? New monthly home sales data released Tuesday showed Seattle single-family medium home price hit $777,000 in February, $20,000 more than the previous all-time high just a month prior.
That's incredible.
You have no idea, Steve, what's happening. You have no idea. I'm following very closely what's happening in Washington State. It is incredible. The average house they're showing here in this article, I love American articles, especially when it comes to real estate, because they actually cowboy it, right? They actually go out and say what's happening, right? In most of their articles, not all their articles, but in most of it. And they're talking about homes, okay, where a year ago, the average house in Seattle was $474, now it's $535, a 12.6% jump in medium housing prices. That's enormous. And then if you go to North King County, 51.8% jump in 1 year.
Wow.
That's incredible. Incredible. So where do a lot of people a lot of people are asking, where are the investors going to park their money that can get their money out of China? I think they're just going to head stateside. I think they'll head to the United States because it's going to be a lot easier and a lot less restriction if you know, I personally think so. You know what I'm saying? And I think Seattle, the state of Washington, will be the blueprint for the rest of America. And what's going to happen. Because there's a massive migration from Seattle, Oregon, California. Everyone's migrating east. California has a mass migration of people moving to Nevada. A lot of people moving to New Mexico from Oregon. A lot of people moving to Texas from Washington State, believe it or not. But that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I agree. We are losing a lot of Canadians to, America. Hopefully that changes when we become a conservative majority. But anyhow, I don't want to get political on you. But I see what you're saying. The only benefit for foreign money to stay in Canada is obviously the greenback being where it is versus the Canadian dollar. Therefore, they're automatically buying at a discount when they're buying houses in Canada with U.S. dollar. But yeah, I can definitely see a migration of foreign money coming to, in droves or more aggressively and accelerating to the U.S. because, let's face it, investors, speculators, they want to put their money where in a strong economy. And right now, Canada does not have a very strong economy, despite what we may read.
So, can you tell me 3 things off the top of your head, Steve? What we're exporting in mass?
What we're exporting in mass? We're really not exporting too much in mass quantities. I know that Trudeau's desperately trying to keep the confidence within the steel and aluminum. But we're not doing much.
That's exactly why I asked you that question, because it's smoke and mirrors, my friend. And, okay, speaking of housing, you want to know of all news outlets in existence that's actually coming forward to say that we're the first to tell you about this? Are you ready for this, Steve? The Sun from London, England. The Sun of all mainstream media actually is being honest. They're actually coming forward. And The Sun has an article that reads today, property squeeze. London house prices drop 15% in a year, cutting £100,000 off property prices. Then they have a broken down map of all of the London area from Chelsea to City of Westminster, all the way down. Cities right now, London is suffering a 10% down £101,000. This is the first time in ever that I see a mainstream media outlet from the United Kingdom actually saying it how it is.
Well, it's interesting you say that. I'm going to read up on that. It would be nice to see mainstream media in Toronto, Vancouver, in Canada in general to start singing the same song, because right now they're really keeping things tight-lipped.
2018 comparing 2016, what's up with that?
I'm sorry, say that again.
2018 numbers comparing 2016. What happened? 2017 didn't exist?
Yeah, they're calling it anomaly, and it's actually quite funny. Who is it? Jeff O'Toole. Jeff O'Toole, a regular commenter. I want to definitely have a beer with this guy sometime. He actually said something in the comment section that I guess it was February house in terms of I think it was house prices, or in terms of the stats for February, actually can be I guess correlated to 2009 numbers, and he's absolutely right on that, because I did read that somewhere, and there was some graphs and some other things to back it all up. But Jeff O'Toole brings some good comments to the table, that's for sure. Yeah, he says sales in TO last month compared to 2009.
Yes, I read that article a few days back, actually. I was talking about 2009 numbers in comparison to what they are now, and I think last Friday I read something like that.
Yeah.
But they're making it really hard for people to find out what really is happening. But this UK article, it's called Property Squeeze, London House Price Drop 15% in a Year. And this one is telling it how it is. It is comparing Islington County to Henry County and Haneke County. All the different counties showing where they're down. Everything is down except Chelsea, which is basically opening a new tech center there. But everything else looks like it's pretty much in the dips. So if you look at here, property prices have been slashed from £666,000 to £585,000 in 12 months. And this as other in Islington, North London, £750,000 to £684,000. But it's still out of reach for the English proper.
Isn't that a shame?
Yep. English proper, teaching. I'm a guy that sent me an email that's teaching at a university there in Cambridge or something. And he's in his 6th year, and he can't afford to rent. And that's how bad it is.
Yeah, I can see if those numbers are truly accurate. That's a lot of paper wealth evaporating real quick, real fast.
Oh yeah, why would the Sun lie? The Sun is supposed to be backing the investors. You know, why would they make this up? Because the Sun needs to I think there's going to be a lot of I was the first out there to warn people type of media outlets.
Well, I guess I agree with that, but sooner or later people are just going to give up, and that's what a lot of millennials have done, because underneath the Liberal government and Ola's there, he hasn't done anybody any favors with the exception of baby boomers. He's put them well positioned with respect to allowing for cheap rates and their asset class in terms of with the asset class with respect to it being housing to be grossly overvalued and accelerated to the point of no return. So they're all sitting real pretty. But then you have millennials that are coming along and just say, I give up. I can't afford this. And again, a house is only worth what the open market can, number one, qualify for, and more importantly, afford. So these baby boomers are in for a drastic challenge when they figure out people just can't afford things. And I spoke to a real estate agent about 3 days ago, and he was pretty honest. The reason why houses aren't selling is because people can't qualify for them, and therefore, you know, the bottom end of the market is just booming, and you're putting all of these once qualified buyers into a already small, saturated market in terms of the semi-detached or the boxes in the sky, in other words, condos. So it's a very difficult set of circumstances, and it's a ripple effect.
Yep.
So, I mean, if you don't have anybody qualified to buy your house at the house price that you desire, and let's face it, there's a lot of people still drinking the Kool-Aid and think that they're going to get April 2017 numbers, especially up in Newmarket, Aurora. I can't really speak to Vancouver because I don't really follow the market too much. But up in Newmarket, Aurora, even Barrie, some people are just way out to lunch. But the laws can definitely confirm or deny that.
Yeah, definitely. Did you see the article I talked about? Was it the day before yesterday, where 10,000 plus Caucasian people have left Vancouver? The article actually said 10,000 white people and 500 Aboriginals have left the city of Vancouver to move into the interior. And I couldn't remember what the numbers were for Toronto, where X amount of white people are leaving the city of Toronto. And it was a legit article from a mainstream media source. Let me look it up here real quick so you could get the gist of it. I couldn't believe that when I read that, I'm like, wow, we're supposed to be living in a very, what do you call it? Right here. First article from 3 days ago. Douglas Todd. Douglas Todd is a reporter for, for the Vancouver Sun. Aboriginals and whites leaving Metro Vancouver. And it's a total of 10,000 Caucasian and 500 plus Indigenous people have left Vancouver, moving into the interior. And Toronto is seeing the same effect, and Montreal, apparently, according to this article written here. So you're going to see a huge, not only the affordability is what you're touching on, it's also the demographics will be changing.
Yeah, the demographic cliff is quickly approaching. I mean, that's a topic for another day.
Mm-hmm.
There was a comment from Ricky Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
Follows needing to raise rates soon. The U.S. Fed is slated to raise rates 4 times this year. I don't know if they'll go 4 times, but they'll definitely go 3. But Stephen Poloz may only just go 1 more time. He was actually supposed to go 2 with a possibility of 3. But I just don't see 3, and 2 is basically going to be a game time decision. He'll go at least once, but things are going to change. And I read something very, very interesting regarding the Liberal government. For the past 70 years, and don't quote me on this, but I've read this. I'll find the article and I'll send it to you, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
The past 70 years, whenever the Liberals have been voted out of power, we immediately go into a recession.
Oh.
Because of spending and a whole bunch of other things.
I get it.
Historically, over the last 70 years, this is what's happened. Now, with that said, I'm not sure. Do you follow Ross Kay by any chance?
I touch on a few things that he talks about with markets and stuff. Sometimes, yes.
Yeah, he's got his own proprietary thing, or what he calls proprietary. I've actually spoken to Ross Kay on the telephone once or twice, and he was interested to speak with me, and we had a good hour conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure of his platform. I've never signed up for his services or whatnot, but he had actually said something, and it resonated with me, because we are going into a recession, whether we like it or not. We're long overdue.
Oh, recession's gonna hit soon, and then depression will hit in about 6 more months.
Yeah, he said something very interesting, that if people are wishing for a 40 or 50% price correction, or I mean 50%, that's almost a crash. That would be considered a crash almost. People are actually wishing for a recession. Well, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to wish for a recession. It's going to happen. It is quickly approaching. We are, days away from, a recession, and maybe not days, but months. I predict by 2018, 2019, be in a full-blown recession. But ironically, we don't know that we're in a recession until we're halfway or 3/4 of the way out of one.
Yeah, and the problem is with the mainstream media massaging things to make people, to calm investors. I think it's really tough to know what's really happening, right?
Very true. It was actually quite funny. In 89, 90, 91, when we went through a recession and the housing market completely tanked and crashed, it actually took the Toronto Star News approximately 2 to 3 years to openly admit that, yep, we're in a recession and the housing market has crashed.
Mm.
In mind, did not have the internet like we do today.
Yeah.
So obviously that's going to come to fruition a lot faster. But many, many people, including mainstream media, will be forced to be in denial for their own benefit, of course.
Okay, well, you know what? Because I know you're mentioning housing markets, blah, blah, blah. We're going over quite a few topics, and there's one thing that you brought up that I brought up in an article that it's very important to in correlation. A normal housing market, people are asking me in the comment section the last couple of shows, What's a normal housing market, Mike? Well, I found a normal housing market, and Steve, tell me if you agree with me on this. It's today's article by the Scotsman, Scotland's national newspaper. Edinburgh and Glasgow house prices set to soar. So I saw the article, I'm like, oh, another Vancouver. But no. House prices in Edinburgh and Glasgow were set to grow by 22% and 17% respectively over the next 5 years to 2022, according to the new research from lending property consultancies. So that's 2.9% per annum over the past 5 years. I honestly think with an aggregating of 15% recovery, I think that's a healthy, normal market.
You think that's a healthy, normal market?
In the next 5 years, yes. For a 5-year, 2.9% increase. That's a workable, because anywhere a normal market is anywhere from 3.5 to 6.5% a year on any normal housing market, not 17 and 20%.
Yeah, a normal housing market performs, from what I've been told, plus or minus 10% at the rate of inflation. 25-30% year-over-year gains. You know what? Those are ethereal, fake gains.
Yeah.
There was underlining things that obviously. And I don't care what anybody says. You know what? You want to say it wasn't foreign buyers. Well, look what happened when the foreign buyer tax came in. The RSN just plopped.
Exactly. Happened in Vancouver. The second that was implemented, everything dropped, kind of plateaued a bit, then it dropped a bit, and the detached prices are dropping like a rock. And condo sales are through the roof, but still, everything's dropping like a rock. So it's saying here, UK 5-year forecasted 12%. That's normal. That's a normal rate. 3.3% increase in Scotland per year is adjusted to inflation. I think that's fantastic. That's a normal housing market. And the average house in Edinburgh and in Glasgow is roughly £160,000. So 3.3% increase isn't crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's the interest rate on a 5-year fixed?
And right now, I think Royal Bank of Scotland is charging, I think it's 4.5%.
Beautiful.
So 4.5% at the average house at £200,000. At 2.3%, you're within adjusted inflation, and you have your recovery in there too with your aggregation.
Absolutely.
That is so workable. Scotland has it like to a T right now. Scotland is the place right now that everyone needs to model, because a 3.9% increase per year, I think, is very, very workable, and especially with what the rates are now with Royal Bank of Scotland, and with the affordability level within Scotland. So I think that's very, yes, you're going to have 4 and 5% increases in several units across the higher ends of Edinburgh and Glasgow, of course, right? But that's to be expected in a market like this. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And in terms of Scotland, do you know what their income tax looks like?
I'm not too sure about their income tax structure, but I'm not too sure, but from what I've been told from someone that lives in Ireland, they could expense the interest on their mortgage as in their income tax.
Yeah, it's very similar to the U.S.
Yeah.
The main problem with Canada is we are impoverished by way of taxation to the point of no return.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody who disagrees with me, you know what, better give your head a shake. And, I guess the silver lining here is, imagine if as a tradesperson, imagine if the first $30,000 to $50,000 that I earned was tax-free.
Yeah.
Or that you earned was tax-free. And then after that, there was a compound tax or something along those lines. HST was still in the game and charged applicable.
Mm-hmm.
Tradespeople in general would not have to do cash jobs. They would say, you know what, it doesn't matter if you pay me cash or not, because I don't have to pay income tax on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the underground economy, in terms of tradespeople, excluding the drugs and prostitution underground economy, but in terms of the trades themselves, imagine if the first $30,000 to $50,000 was tax free, and then after that, things were taxed accordingly.
Mm-hmm.
People would actually be able to afford to live comfortably. But regrettably, we're letting way too many immigrants into the country, and Trudeau thinks that they're going to save the day, and many other people think they're going to save the day. I'm sorry, letting 300,000 immigrants into the country. Regrettably, I don't know, Mike, maybe 10, 15% on a good day.
But I don't understand, where's everyone getting this 300,000? Is this for all of Canada? I'm not getting this, because I'm going to tell you what this article here, I read the other day. I keep reading it on my thing. Here it is. It's British Columbia. Don't tell me they took this down. Here it is. Yeah, it's this article here. You can look it up. Canada wants more Chinese workers, students, and tourists. Canadian immigration analyst says. So this is it right here. Is the article says McCollum said visas have been increased from China to about 500,000 per year, but opening more visa offices could help Canada compete for Chinese workers and students and lucrative tourist business. So I don't know where they're getting 300,000 when we're just getting in 500,000 from China a year. It doesn't. I don't know. Is this outside of China? Is this 300,000 immigrants from minus China?
You know what? I would love it if Mr. Trudeau would clarify and solidify that. But I mean, he is the absolute king of sucking and blowing at the same time. And I'm not trying to be crude. He definitely possesses that skill. And I'm not saying it's a good skill by any way, shape, or form. But yeah, the judge and the jury's out on that. I'm not sure exactly where all these immigrants are coming from. I'd like to know, because I'd like to I guess, speculate if they're actually going to be bringing money with them, or they're going to be a burden on society in terms of, working the system, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. The article's up here, posted August 17th, 2016. I've read it on my channel 4 times, because everyone keeps telling me we're allowing 300,000 immigrants per year. Are they segregating the Chinese and keeping them as their own? Different, because Canadian taxpayers are opening offices in China to fast-track Canadian Chinese workers.
Really?
It's the article. You could read it. I have it up on my... Later, watch my show from beginning. It's right here. I have it up right now. The minute is 1 hour and 32 minutes in the show. You'll see it. It's right there. So that's what I've been wondering the whole time. I'm not understanding. And then when you go to Canada Census, they go back as far as 2015... and it shows no immigration from certain countries, but it doesn't add up from what you're seeing, the visibility on the streets. It's completely different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. In the comment section, Jason Azedito, sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name incorrectly now, but he says Philippines 50,846, India 39,530. China at 19,532. I'm not sure where he's getting all these numbers from, but I'm really interested to know from Jason if this is how it's actually being broken down in terms of where all these people are coming from.
Yeah, because I don't understand why the CBC of all mainstream articles. Or mainstream, why would they write this article? And they're mainstream, too. Canada wants more Chinese workers and students, and they're pushing to 500,000 a year visas opened for Chinese workers and students. It doesn't make sense when only 19,000 would come from China. I don't understand.
Regardless, that number is quite large, and Jeff O'Toole hit the nail right on the head. He said, how do we have the resources for that level of immigrants? And he's absolutely right. I'm just not sure what's going to happen here. This is crazy. This actually needs to stop because, quite frankly, it's really going to affect our economy.
Oh, definitely, because what's happening is the infrastructures in these big cities, these high, in quotations, high densified cities, are not so highly densified. I had a friend come back from Vancouver last week, came by the shop today, said he was in Vancouver for the weekend. He says there's no one downtown. There's nobody there. He's like, there's no one in the big city. There's nobody. Unless you're working during the week and all the people working in the offices, but they have to commute to work. That's the only time you see people.
Yeah, I've met a few people that have left Vancouver and have come to Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Business professionals, whether they're renovating their properties that they bought in here or whatnot. Many people are leaving Vancouver, coming to Toronto, going to Alberta.
Oh, Alberta for sure. Alberta is having an upswing right now in real estate from mainly BC residents. So I read the article about an hour ago about the Alberta upswing right now in real estate. So
yeah, I hear that's on the rise.
Big time. Let me ask you a question, Steve. This is very important, and I have it open right in front of me. And Mario DeCettis on his channel, The Lost Canuck, brought this up, and I want to bring it up. He brought it up here in the comments section.
Yeah, I just want to send a big shout out to him. He's mentioned me in a couple of videos.
Yeah, I got him up right here. I got him up as a plug here. Everybody, The Lost Canuck, here's his channel. This is what it looks like. When you go to his channel, for some reason, it says this channel doesn't have any content. It does. Click on videos, the next link, and it brings up all his videos. There he is there. I want to let people know that when you go to his channel, you're going to say, oh, there's nothing here. There is. Go to videos. For some reason, I don't know why YouTube's doing this. Some people told me my channel does that sometimes too. When they go to my channel to watch a video, it says this channel has no content. You know what I'm saying? So there he is there. So now, Steve, I want to bring something up, okay? And this is what Mario DeCettis brought up last week on his channel. Are you there?
I am.
Okay, I think it's someone from Long Beach trying to call with the gin and juice music on the other line, so I'm trying to...
I think it's Walking Journey's been trying to call you to chew the fat.
Okay, anyways, so here it is. North America's largest real estate wealth expo, Toronto, Saturday, April 7th. Did you watch that article, that story he made that about this real estate wealth expo, Toronto's? Self-made millionaires teach you how to make money in real estate.
Yeah, and apparently you can get 2 tickets for $150.
Yeah, they got a sale here. It's like regular $4.99. So who's going to be there? I don't know who the first person is. I don't know who the second person is. I don't even know who that is. I don't even want to mention some of these people on my channel. I don't even know who these guys are. Some Shark Tank guy people know. I'm not too sure. Sylvester Stallone discussing knockout strategies. Pitbull discussing from negative to positive. Another Shark Tank guy. And I don't even know who that is. And they should get people in from The View on this thing, because it'll help out, you know. Get some people from The View in there, too, you know. Maybe Whoopi Goldberg will help even things out.
You hit the nail right on the head in terms of you being facetious here.
Yep, they should get Whoopi Goldberg in there, and that will make it perfect. Over 1 million people have attended this expo since 2002. 900-plus speakers, 1 million expo attendees, 50 cities, 3,270 workshops. Wow. So, what do you think of this? Why is this happening, Steve? They did this last year.
Well, Manjeet Singh is, I have a lot of respect for her. She owns a bottle and brewing company with her brother. She is the dragon, and she's self-care. Got a huge respect for her. And I would listen to her talk about real estate, probably not so much. But I'd really love to know what some, Cuban musician, if you want to call him a musician, that being Pitbull.
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone is going to tell me how to make money in the real estate game. I have one question for Sylvester Stallone and Pitbull. Have you ever changed a toilet? Have you ever changed a faucet? Have you ever painted a wall in a house? Have you ever patched drywall?
I think Sylvester Stallone did when in his very younger years. I could see him doing that. But I know where you're coming from when it comes to actual, the nitty-gritty, the dealing with tenants, dealing with banks, dealing with real estate companies. I get it. It's they don't have to deal with that kind of stress.
Yeah, I mean, just throw Tony Robbins in there, and you can kill 11 birds with one stone, and talk about your feelings as long as he's got a couch.
Yep, and you can talk about what's motivating you to buy in this market, and why would you buy in this market.
Yeah, I kind of want to. If they have a question and answer period, I'd love to really truly attend with Mario and just attend for the question and answer period. And I'd love for those people to bona fide why they're qualified to instruct me and give me financial advice for the purpose of investing in Toronto real estate.
You know what it reminds me of? Do you remember that BitConnect scam that was going on for a while?
Yes.
Do you remember that guy that went on stage? BitConnect!
Yep.
What's up, what's up, what's up? BitConnect! I think a lot of people are going to be going on stage doing that kind of, what's up, Toronto? It's time to buy homes! You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's face it, they're all getting paid for their appearance, and organized real estate is putting that on. It's no secret. They're paying through the wazoo to have these people come on stage and, say all these things. Now, if Manjeet Singh, the dragon there, is going to go on there and talk about Toronto real estate and how good it is to invest in Toronto real estate, she should be ashamed of herself, because she's a highly respected business person. And quite frankly, she should not be letting people blow their brains out on overpriced real estate that is merely propped up like a house of cards and is going to come down hard and fast. Like, we're literally going to wake up one morning and we are all going to laugh about this, because the arse end is going to fall right out of the market, especially in the Greater Toronto area. And I believe it's going to be right after or just before Q1.
Oh, Q1 is the big deal. I've been talking about Q1 since November of last year. And Q1 is going to be their make or break. Q1, everyone's waiting on the sidelines whether to buy. Everyone's waiting for Q1, waiting to see if they should sell. And people are waiting on the sidelines to watch a show when Q1 hits.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's why I know who's going to attend that seminar. It's going to be a lot of immigrants and new Canadians and people that are impoverished right now or have a little bit of money and want to attend this. And the big hoopla is going to happen. But Jeff O'Toole just commented, how are these immigrants? How can they afford $700,000 plus houses? They can't.
And if people are making, against inflation, people are making 85% less than what they made it since 1959. How does that figure? And when people say, Mike, that's impossible, people are making less money than they did in 1959. Yeah, you could bag groceries at the local grocery mart and pay your house off in 4 years.
Yeah, because your house was, $9,000 to $16,000.
Right, but not only that, but interest rates were at 12%, so that actually motivated people to pay the damn thing off.
Absolutely. They were killing that mortgage, not in 25 or 30 years or even 15 years. Every red cent dime that they had as disposable income locked away and allocated to paying off that financial burden.
That's right. And that's what's happening. What's happening is we have been comfortable with the low rates. We have been comfortable with the quantitative easing. The problem is the party is going to come to an end. A lot of people with the equity in their homes have borrowed against the equity. So pretty much everyone's on the hook. Even the homeowners are on the hook by, giving money, handing down money to the millennials to help them out. Everyone's been on the hook, and everyone's hook, line, and sinker, part of this party. Who's going to clean it up? That's the problem.
Well, the only people that are going to be able to clean it up is, the under 40 crowd, and especially the under 25 crowd right now, because they have time on their hands. And the only way that they're actually going to be able to clean it up is if they get affordable shelter. And quite frankly, if they do not get affordable housing, they're not going to be able to buy. The banks right now understand how fragile they are. Did you read the most current article where I think it was UBS or IBS? I think it was UBS that the Toronto market was, the Toronto market was the most at risk for failure.
Of course.
Yeah.
That was the article I read. Did I bring that up last week? I did read that article. I'm not sure if I aired that one.
Yeah. They understand people are living well beyond their means.
That's correct. Yeah, I read this article. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. So they're living well beyond their means. The writing is on the wall.
Yes.
What they're actually doing with the stress testing is they are preventing people from taking on debt that they cannot service in 3 to 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And that's a good thing. They're trying to prevent their book of business from a mortgage loan origination and standpoint from imploding on itself. They already know that they've lent out money to people that were maybe qualified at the time, especially in a rising house price market. But now that things are correcting, and yes, they are correcting. I can't stand when people say, "Oh, the market's cooling." Oh yeah, the market's cooling because it's correcting. But without digressing, the banks know what's happening. They're not stupid. They are there to make business. And make money. They are not your friend.
Well, banks. Steve, remember that story I told you where I went into the bank with 50% to put down and they said no?
Yes, they said no simply due to the fact that you did not meet the actual standard policy and procedure in terms of who they want to lend out to. And in actual fact, the unemployment rate, it can be whatever it wants to be. But if let's say, for example, you have John Smith making $85,000 a year, okay, gross.
Yeah.
And he works for whoever. And then you have Mike Martins. He is a self-employed individual. He has regular deposits going into his business bank account. He pays himself by way of, however which way you want to divvy it up.
Yeah.
Your line 50 on your tax return represents $120,000, whether it's by payroll or dividends. And you've been doing that for the past 2, 3, 5 years, maybe longer.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to peel back the layers, who is actually the more, I guess, preferential client? Is it Mike Martins or John Smith? It's Mike Martins, because John Smith can be laid off in a New York second, and Mike Martins has assets. He's built a business. He can weather the storm. He's living well within his means.
That's right.
50 checking down, and he's not going to walk away from that mortgage.
That's correct.
You're going to go give a mortgage for the same amount of money with somebody that's only got 10, 15, maybe 20% down at best, okay, because you have CMHC to fall back on. But let's say he's got 20% down or 25% down because he's not in control of the business and he's just a worker bee.
Yeah.
Subsequently, he gets preferential treatment. The banks need to wake up because, in actual fact, and I don't want to offend people here, but as a business owner myself, okay, and you're a business owner too, we know what the risks are.
Yeah.
Average 9 to 5 Joe. The biggest risk that they actually take, Mike, do you know what it is every day?
What is it? Tell us.
It's not doing their job and performing it. The biggest risk they absolutely have is driving to and from the office. Risk they have.
Wow.
Think about it.
Yeah. Well, they got nothing to lose, right?
That's right. If they get there, they do their job. Okay? They clock in, they clock out. Now they got to get home.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to take care of dependents, or they got to take care of their dog, or they got to go on some sort of a hot date.
Yeah.
That is ultimately the biggest risk that any regular employee has.
That's nuts.
Yet you're going to go ahead and lend them money before you lend a business owner that obviously has 3 years or more in terms of proper deposits.
Oh, I have 11 years.
Yeah, 11 years. That is absolutely mind-blowing. Why 11 years worth of blood, sweat, and tears means absolutely nothing. And, okay, 50% down.
I wanted to do 50% because the rates were good, and I thought maybe I could borrow someone else's money, right? But then they declined me, and they're like, "Oh no!" So then I just bought the house free and clear. I would have never got this house.
Absolutely, and I've actually been in a situation where me being self-employed, putting more than 51% down, they didn't want to do the deal. They came back and said, "Yeah, Steve, we'll give you the mortgage, but you have to put less than 50% down." And it actually occurred to me because I knew that there was something going on, so I spoke to a financial advisor,
Mm-hmm.
very, very high up in corporate lending, and he basically gave me the nitty-gritty on it. Like, do you know if you own 51%
Mm-hmm.
of your house, whether it's by down payment, equity, whatever it may be,
Okay.
okay, if you own 51% or greater, okay, in that house, you are actually in full control. You can stop paying your mortgage
Mm-hmm.
following day, and as long up into and including, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you own 51% equity in that asset class, the bank cannot foreclose on you.
Really?
Well, the mortgage, they can sue you, okay, but they cannot secure their position because they are absolutely second on that.
Oh.
They have to go through civil law and procedure in order to get their mortgage, to get their money.
Wow, I did not think of that because yes, it is an asset, and yes, it is an investment. So it's just like any other investment business, the business contract you have with the bank.
Absolutely, as long as you have majority share, absolutely. The bank will have to go through so many other hurdles in order to get their loan paid out.
Hey, Steve, I want to ask you a question. What would it take for you and Mario to meet up and actually go to this stupid thing on April 7th?
Let's do it.
Mario, I know he's watching right now because he's commenting. Mario DeSetis, if you're watching this, Steven the plumber, wants to meet up and go down to this thing. Make a few videos for my channel if you guys don't mind. Just say here, Steve here reporting for, you don't have to show yourself, but just say, hey, Steve here for the Mike Martin's channel. We're here at the Metro Toronto Convention Expo here at the housing, if you don't mind, I'd appreciate that very much.
Yeah, I definitely meet up with him and crush a couple of beers and head down to that show for sure.
You definitely have to at least 7-8 beers to go to that show.
Absolutely. Well, I'd walk in with a traveler.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm going into 2-hour mark here. I want to get some sleep. Let me know if you guys are going to go to this on April 7th, Saturday. I hope we could maybe get some of the comments, people in the comment section, to help prep you guys up a bit. on what questions you guys maybe want to ask some of the people there?
Yeah, well, I'm sure, the Lost Canucks Mario there, he'll make a video, and if he wants to invite me, by all means, that definitely, I would definitely go to that, hands down. And anybody else that wants to meet up and go to that, I'd take an hour or two out of my day, and I'd actually pay the fee to get in.
I would pay to see that too, but unfortunately, I'm a 5-hour flight away, right? So
it's absolutely fine. I just hope that they have a question period, because I think I'd jump on top of my seat, and I definitely want to ask a few people some questions. But I mean, let's face it, there's so many organized real estate individuals there. As soon as they heard where I was going with it, it would probably get kiboshed in a New York second.
But you know what? You could go in there armed with some Q1 numbers and find out what's really going on. You go in there armed with some Q1 numbers, first week of April. 7th is a perfect day. It's the first week, numbers are tallying up. You could go in there armed with some articles printed off and asking them what they think,
Absolutely. I think that would be fantastic, and I'd love to see qualified individuals like Pitbull, Sylvester Stallone, and everybody else actually answer those questions and try to blow smoke up my behind. That actually would be quite interesting. But anyhow, I think Mario may be trying to call in.
No, it's a private caller. They're calling from Riverside, California. It's that Snoop Dogg guy. The reason why people are asking how come if Mario's going to call, I'm going to hang up right now with Steve, and if Mario could call right now, call, because there's a crank caller trying to get through. He's already crank called the show 4 times today.
Oh, really? All right, well, Snoop Dogg, you...
Okay, so Mario DeSetti says in the comment section that he's in. I'm in, Steve.
Absolutely. Mario, you're going to call in?
Yeah, Mario, call into the show right now. Okay, Steve, I'll let you go.
All right, Mike, you be well. We'll talk soon.
Okay, cheers. So I've been getting a lot of crank calls. That's why I've been holding Steve on the line. He's got really good information. He's up to speed on what's going on. And I kind of like talking to him for hours on end. And I've been getting bombarded with so many prank calls here. Like 4 of them at the beginning of the show. Let's see who this is. Hello, you're live.
Hey, Mike.
Hello?
Hello, Mike.
Yes.
Buddy, John.
It's who?
John, I called in a couple weeks ago.
From?
Equalute.
From where?
Equalute.
I could barely hear you. Call back on the landline or something, because I could barely hear you. You're breaking up really bad.
From Equalute, Mike.
From who?
Equalute in northern Canada.
Okay. Say the name of the city again. Sorry, I forgot.
Equalute.
Okay, how are things up there in your neck of the woods?
I was gonna ask you about the whole housing thing. Like, we don't really pretty steady up here.
Well, you got to remember the greater areas outside the major cities are growing right now.
Yeah, we're way up north though. We're like way like, you know where Equalute is, right?
It's like what, 11-hour drive from Vancouver?
No. We're on the east, about 11 hours up from Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of, again, 11 hours northeast of Toronto. I'm sorry. Sorry, north, exactly north of Toronto. Sorry. I'm out of it. Sorry, I'm thinking Vancouver. I don't know why. But yes, definitely. It's about 12 hours. Yeah. You're like, 8 hours from, 6 hours from Thunder Bay?
About 8 hours.
From Thunder Bay. I know where you're at. Yeah. So, yeah, but the housing there is going to always stabilize because, one, there will be jobs. There will be some sort of an economy. What do you guys export out of there? What do you guys do there?
We export a lot of, like, furs, like beaver furs and stuff like that.
Okay, there's a market for that. There's a big market for that because there's not a lot of places that export beaver furs. So you guys pretty much have the monopoly on that. And what else do you guys do up there?
Timber. We do timber.
Oh, timber is always in demand. It's a commodity. Asia's buying up all the timber. So you guys have a steady production and exportation, right? So unlike big cities where they don't have that, they're in a lot of trouble right now, and they're leaving, and they're making their way up to these smaller towns. Have you been noticing a migrant of you people coming into town?
Well, we do have quite a bit of immigrants. I like the immigrants. I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, I'm an immigrant myself. I'm from Portugal, right?
Yeah, I think your last caller was kind of racist, man.
Which guy? Steve?
He was saying stuff about, like, he didn't like immigrants. I'm a white guy myself. I like immigrants. He was saying that he didn't like the immigrants coming in or something like that.
Oh, no, we're talking about 500,000 of them coming in.
Oh, wow, that's good for the economy.
It depends where. That's the problem, right?
Like, I say the more the merrier. Like, we get them all in here.
The only problem is in the big cities, there's a lack of jobs, right? And the problem is, where's the number one place an immigrant moves to when he immigrates to a country? To a big city, right?
Big city, that's right.
And the big city takes the tolls, and what happens? There's no jobs. And then when there's no jobs, the government support needs to kick in. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the drawback. I don't care, immigration, whatever, it's fine. But if people are coming in with a dream, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like when the Irish immigrated to New York in the 1800s, they came with an American dream,
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm talking about people that hold Canada sacred in their heart, people that love Canada, people that want to make Canada their priority. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I there's quite a few immigrants here. They're pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Really cool. They're I don't know, like, all this stuff about them, and really nice, like, one of my friends, his neighbor, him and his wife, Blair, they're immigrants. They're from the Middle East, and probably the cleanest, nicest people I've ever come across.
Yeah, oh no, we're not arguing nice people. We're arguing where are we going to put 500,000 people?
Well, I'll tell you what, we could build some affordable housing or something, because, up here we haven't really had too much of a housing spike, though. It's been pretty stable.
What's the average house in your area going for?
About 125,000, 120, 130.
130,000, yeah. Because with interest rates the way they sit at, you're looking at about a couple of $1,000s a year in finance charges. That's not too bad at all.
Yeah, well, our pop, it's only 7,000 up here. Oh.
You know what? That's more than me. I got 7,000 in my town.
Oh, do you? Yeah.
So I live in a small town. I live in a small town too. You know what I'm saying? I think 3,000 people are Aboriginal, and then the rest is pretty much not too many Europeans here. Lots of Caucasian, but we do have the Aboriginal community bands. We have 5 different bands in the area.
Well, all Caucasians are from Europe.
Most, 97%.
Where's the rest from?
I don't know. I know parts in.
I think they're all European.
Yeah, yes and no. There's still. You can still find a lot of Caucasian people in parts of Africa too, right? I've been to Africa many times, and quite a few that I've seen there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're pretty cold all year long. Like we don't really get a summer.
Oh, so you guys got the cool weather pretty much all year round, eh?
We get like about 2 months of like warmer weather, but we're cold all year long.
Anyways.
Yeah, no, the housing here, like, it's pretty stable. It's pretty stable.
Yeah, like you said, $125,000 to $130,000 a house. It's a very stable medium, and you're the median income. What's the income there? What's the average person making there? About $30,000 a year?
Probably.
More than that?
The guys in the fur trade there, they're skinning beavers all day.
Okay. So the guys skinning beavers all day, how much do you know roughly what their annual income is? Do you know?
I think they get paid by beaver or something.
Oh, so it's piecework.
Pretty much.
Okay, so they're making about 30 to about 45,000. I'm not too sure about the industry. I know it is a very popular industry, and there's always people out there looking for good furs, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's.
Who are your major consumers? Who's buying it from you guys?
Most of the Chinese. They actually buy. We sell a lot of like that. They got a factory up here. Well, it's not a factory, but they gut the beavers. They skin them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of their private parts go over to China. They use ball sack.
Yeah, I heard they use that for medicinal medicines.
Yeah, and the anuses too.
Yeah, no, I heard that. That was actually on some mainstream media news thing, that they're using the scrotums and different parts of the beaver. And what's the other animal they're skinning too? Is it the wolverine, or is it the...
Well, they do it with the beavers, wolverines. I think even with the moose. I know with the bears they do it. There was actually a big problem with the bears when they had to like stop. You can't hunt bears up here, but people do it because Chinese, they're just interested in ball sacks and anuses.
Yeah, so the Chinese are basically buying up the furs and the private parts of the beaver. Interesting. That's good to know. Anyways, I'm going to let you go.
For medicinal purposes or something. They stick it up their anus.
What's that?
They do it for medicinal purposes. There's something weird like that. I mean,
yeah, it's medicinal purposes for sure. Of course, everybody, every culture on this planet has some sort of a belief in, especially the Aboriginal community. They have a strong belief in herbal and healing powers from the earth, and I believe in that more than I do in some of this crap that the hospitals are telling us.
You know what we have a lot of here, Mike? Get into this kind of business. We got a lot of water up here. I think let's get into the water business.
Water business didn't do so good for BC because we're exporting our water to Asia for like the cents on the dollar.
Well, I was thinking of doing this, right? Getting an oil tanker. Instead of filling it with oil, fill it up with water. Send it somewhere like South Africa. They're low on water right now.
Yeah, water obviously is one of the major commodities on this planet, obviously. There is industry in water. It's one of the biggest $1 trillion industries on this planet, right? But,
Come here in the summer, there's a lot of ants. I was thinking of getting the ant farm business, like putting the ants in the ant farm and shipping those out too, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I'm going to have to let you go because I want to go to sleep.
All right, Mike.
It's getting late here, and it's probably early morning where you are.
Okay, well, you take care.
Have a good night, guy. Talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye. So that is 8 hours. Oh, another call coming in. Hello, you're live.
Oh, hey there, Michael. How's it going?
Good. Who's speaking?
I'm calling you from London here.
Oh, yes. Are you in London right now?
Yes, that's correct. I gotta tell you, I'm watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
When you're not wearing the hat you're speaking, I feel like I'm getting advice from my left nutsack.
You're getting what from your left nutsack? I didn't hear that.
Like sometimes when you're wearing your hat, I feel like I'm getting advice from my left nutsack.
Oh, wow. So how you doing tonight? You doing good?
I think like shit in the pants.
Oh, well, if you want, I could wear a hat, but I like to... Once every 100th video, I like to look professional, you know?
No, Mommy, please! No, Mommy!
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to add to that? Okay, so anyways. Yeah! I don't know if Mario could get through. I'm getting bombarded with crank calls. Anyways, I just trying to figure out what's going on. Mario, where are you, man? I know it's late there. It's like friggin'. It's like Thursday morning. Another private caller. Let's see what this guy has to say. Hello, you're live.
Hello, Mike Martin.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Richard. I really enjoy your show, your channel.
Yeah.
I moved from San Francisco to West Vancouver about 10 years ago, and, well, the situation here is becoming more and more difficult. I mean, with the job market, the housing market, you know, I was thinking maybe I should move to Merritt. What do you think?
Well, if you want to run some tech industry out here, we're looking for tech companies to move out here. You did live in San Francisco is not really the tech industry, but it is close enough. And West Van has some sort of a tech industry going on there. Are you in the tech industry?
I guess you can say that, yes. Me and my domestic partner are just fine living here in West Vancouver right now. Just, we feel like we're in over our head.
And why is that? Is it the cost of living is too high?
Well, my domestic partner, he lost his job, so I'm, the sole earner now. So we're just barely making ends meet.
Wow.
It's really difficult.
And
for a change.
Well, just stay strong. It's not the end of the world. Losing a job basically creates another opportunity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's really terrible. I mean, we left San Francisco because we thought we would make a better life for ourselves here in West Vancouver. Initially, everything was, going fine, and, now we're like in a rut, like everybody else. It seems the whole world is going to hell in a handbasket.
No, I know. It's what's happening everywhere. It's a major problem that's affecting a lot of people. A lot of people move to different cities with a change in mind to make a difference in life and eventually better their lives. That's the whole point, is to better their lives. Now their lives are getting a lot worse.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. So this is a very difficult situation for us, and we're vying our options. We're not sure what to do, but
you know what? Are you said you were from the States? Do you have dual citizenship?
I'm sorry?
You said you were originally from the United States. Do you have dual citizenship?
Yes.
I would move down I would move south. I would move to Georgia. I would move to Florida. I would move to South Carolina. I'd move somewhere else.
See, I've been looking into those states, and the major complaint that I have seen is that all the people like from New York and Chicago and all these like liberal cities, all those people are now moving to those states and causing the same problems, and I don't want to find myself in a similar situation again. So, like I said, it's just very difficult. I really enjoy your channel. It's very informative, and, I'm glad that you're doing well and you have your own business,
I took the risk when everyone told me I was nuts. I left a really good, well-paying job to take the risk, and I did, and it pays off, right?
Yes, well, I think, maybe one of these days I'm going to go check out Merritt just to see what it's like, if it's suitable for us.
Well, check out Merritt and check out also Kelowna, and check out, what's the other city? Kamloops, and check out the whole Okanagan region.
Thank you, sir. Really enjoy your channel. Keep up the good work.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was a caller calling from the 604 area code, so that was a legit Vancouver caller. So, anyways, I'm still waiting for Mario. Everyone's bypassing. Here we go. This is a Barrie, Ontario area code. Okay, I have a Barrie, Ontario area code calling me. Is this Mario?
Yes, it is, brother. How are you?
God bless America. Happy Thursday morning for you.
Thanks, brother. Great show, buddy. Great show.
Dude, I'm trying my best. I had to keep Steve the plumber is my go-to guy. I had to keep him on the phone for a while. I was getting bombarded by crank calls at the beginning.
Yeah, I heard you saying it.
Yeah, Snoop Dogg called. Everybody called. So, okay, Mario, what's going on, buddy? So what's going on with this thing? I got this thing open in front of me. Right here. I got it open right in front of me. It's called the Self-Made Millionaires Teach You How to Make Money!
Oh, it's unbelievable what they're trying to do. Bringing all these people from Lake Video. They're trying to bring all these big people so people can start paying these tickets to go and see. I don't know how many tickets they're going to sell. I have no idea. And it'd be very interesting when we go to see how many are going to be actually foreigners, actually investors.
You know what the sad part is? It's not the foreigners and the investors I'm worried about. It's the humble, hardworking people that are trying to make it ahead in their lives. Those are the people I'm scared of.
Yeah, they're going to believe in these people and this and that. I wonder, Mike, if you're going to have like an open mic where you can ask questions. What I want to know.
Well, like I said, like I told Steve the plumber, you guys should go in there armed with Q1 numbers.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
I'm going to contact someone at Better Dwelling because I know it usually takes them a week to get those numbers out. But if we could have them out before this 7th, because I know first 2 days of April we're going to start getting a trickle in of numbers. But I'd like to see if we could get in some. Hopefully they could get us in some numbers because the only people I could trust is Better Dwelling or Zero Hedge.
Yeah, I agree with 100%.
And there's no one else I could trust with this. So, I mean, if you guys go in there, maybe go with a GoPro camera, dude.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea either.
Put your helmet on and walk around with a helmet on with a GoPro on your head, and people will be like, "What are you doing?" You'll be like, "Hey, I know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing?"
Yeah, that's right. We're not like Steve said earlier. We're not drinking Kool-Aid. We're drinking beer.
Yeah, you got it. Like I said, you got to drink 7-8 beers before you even walk into that place.
Yeah. But it's very interesting. How you said it. You nailed it when you said they're going to bring all this stuff and blame games. Now the media is getting it all out there. Now you got banks saying that we're in trouble. Like it's obvious. A little bit too late now. They put everybody under slavery, and now we're at a point there. And I think what Steve said, he hit it on the point too. He said something about the banks know what they're doing. Of course, they know what they're doing, but nobody realizes how many parents and family help out people putting a deposit on a house.
Exactly. That's why people are removing the equity in their homes they have paid off for 20 years to support another family member.
That's right. And that's what I'm worried about more than anything. Because imagine when you go to the parents and have a house they had paid off for 30 years, go take out $200,000 mortgage to give to their kids, whatever, buy into the market. And when things go bad and sour, people are going to be collecting a pension and paying, like you said, paying the mortgage the rest of the day they die and then after their death. So and you know, I had a guy. Listen to this one, Mike. I had a guy on my YouTube channel. He sent me information because I want to put one out from 1950s now. And if you see the numbers what we used to make back in the day. And I took Toronto. I took every 20 years, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you could buy a house in the 80s, you paid, I think it was 125 or 130 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you paid, I think the interest rates at that time were 17%.
Yeah, 12 to 17.5%.
Yeah. So then I took those numbers and I said, okay, but still that one person could still work and pay for things. This is the trick. You have to sacrifice a little bit, but people don't realize you go to the supermarket and that $100 could be a family of 4.
Yeah.
That was back in the 80s.
No, but remember, Mario, a lot of people are trying to erase this way of life. They're trying to erase the fact that students could work a summer job and still pay off their university and have a car and pay it off, and an apartment, with working only in the summer.
That's right. And people don't realize how important that was back then. As soon as we started, like you said, as soon as we got the open market starting in the 80s,
Mm-hmm.
things started going, and Steve hit it again. When the Liberals forced themselves out, which was Peterson, he was running the election in 94, he decided to call in after 2 years because he knew Ontario was in so much trouble he couldn't help it. The Liberals called an election, and Bob Rae won it. We all know, we call it the Bob Rae days in Ontario. He destroyed, well, it wasn't his fault because he had no money, no backing, no people in power with him that had the knowledge, experience in business. It was just a downfall.
That's when Canada signed into the whole NAFTA agreement and we lost all our jobs to Mexico.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I don't know if I said it to you before in your video or on your show that I don't know in Vancouver, but in Ontario, a car, like you buy a used car, that car could be paid taxes 10 times. They have what's called a black book value.
Right.
Even if I buy the car off you, that's what the listeners don't understand what happens in Ontario. We have the most populated people, okay, of all across Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Have 13 million right now is updated. And you imagine, I go buy a car. That car can be traded up to 8 to 10 times. So out of 10 times, that's paid taxes on a car. But where does all this money go? This is what tricks. It just boggles my mind. This money's all collected, and we don't know where it goes. And we're in debt. We keep going in debt. We keep going in debt. And Steve said it, he just hit it right on the point. We've come to society today where we're just going to work to pay whatever we can pay.
Yeah, it's a pay-as-you-go system, like Fido.
Yeah. And I told you last time when I was on your show, nobody looks at the total amount. Nobody looks at the payments. They just look at the monthly bill.
Yeah, they don't look at what the amortization is and how they're going to be enslaved for the rest of their lives.
That's right. And they're going to give it to their kids. They're going to give it. Like, I thank God my wife is really good at money because I suck. Okay. Suck. But my wife is amazing. My daughter has no debt. She finished 4 years at York University.
Mm-hmm.
Sociology. She finished. She's doing her courses now, 1 year, and there's no school debt. She has a car. Not a new one, but it's a car. It's paid for. She has no debt. And my son, the same thing. He goes to college. There's no debt. So he has a car, and you know, their friends have newer cars, their friends have this, but I told them, I said, yeah, but remember one thing, the money that you put in the bank, go out to have all those materials.
Right.
And that's what we live in society today. People are living, like you said, they go get a second mortgage, they get the new car, and I think somebody put it on your channel today. They go to Disneyland, they do whatever, but it's not free money, like you said. You got to pay that back.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
TD's at the highest. TD's at $2 billion on second mortgages. They're at the highest of all banks. So they're in deep water when it comes to that. Well, I shouldn't say deep water, but what I'm saying is people are not going to be able to afford anything. And I remember when my brother bought a house, Mike, before me and you could finally rest, he bought a house in 1987.
Mm-hmm.
Stayed in Pickering, Ontario.
Okay, Pickering.
Dad bought that. Yeah, my dad bought that house. It was a new builder. He bought it. I don't know if you remember in Ontario, they were doing that flip. People can go buy a new house, and then somebody can come to you a week later and pay 20, 30 grand more, and you flipped it. What good times.
Yeah, that was before the big crash, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay.
But the government stepped in and stopped it. But I remember my brother bought it, and when he bought it, he paid $180,000 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was he was paying the 18 or 19%, a little bit high. But what happened was then the market started to go down. Rates were starting to drop, and like you said, it went to 12%. He only had it for 1 year, and then it went down to 9%.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue was that he was making enough money to make his payments. And this is going back in 88, 89.
Mm-hmm.
And now you look at people with 700,000-800,000. If you imagine if I get some of my uncles that passed away in life, and I showed them, and they were in real estate, God rest their soul, and they got out, and they seen what we're paying for houses, I think they'd have a stroke.
Yep, they would freak out. And if you told people in the past that how much you're going to pay for houses, and you're going to be making 80% less than what you were, they'd call you a liar.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell the viewers and yourself, I'm working on a video right now. I'm doing what everybody's paying for cable, everybody's paying internet.
Yeah, TDS, total debt service ratio, water, heat, cell phone, car insurance. Don't forget to pay for school expenses.
Yeah, that's right. And now I know you guys have to pay, I think it's carbon tax now, right?
Yeah, for my house I paid like $230.
Yeah, we haven't got that yet, but ours is coming. I know it is. I don't think anybody knows it yet, but it's coming. It's coming.
Can I ask you a question, Mario? Before I forget, is Doug Ford going to make Ontario great again?
You know what, buddy? I was just going to say it. He's going to be a Donald Trump for Ontario, and I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, he doesn't care about anybody.
That's right.
He wants to do his job because when Rob Ford was in power, they all made. I'm telling you, they made fun of him. Now they make fun of him because he's for the people.
That's right.
The lobbyist. He's not for the because he came from a well-to-do family. He went in there to make money.
I think, if memory serves me right, I think he's Catholic.
Yeah, and he's bringing that back into the system.
Yeah.
And he's already said, Doug Ford already said, he wants to get rid of WINS. I would say, and I'm not trying to be controversial, I'm not trying to judge anybody, but WIN is trying to put that sex ed into the schools. It was disgusting. Mm-hmm. Well, and second of all, thank God he had the balls to say it. Mm-hmm. That sex ed out, that she put in. He doesn't care. He says, when I get in, that's the first thing I'm going to take away. And
yeah, I think kids in grade 3 were learning about different genders and stuff. Or grade 2.
Yeah, that and also anal sex. Like, really?
Yeah, I don't need my kids to learn about that. Like what's the point? You know what I'm saying?
But I just want to say, Mike, thank you for mentioning Enoch on one of your videos. I've been reading. I've read 3 books that you can't even buy at a bookstore. If you want, I can even send it to you.
Are you talking about the Book of Enoch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Enoch is the man who walked with God.
That's right. And did you know, so listeners can know, if they don't have faith, he's the only person that we know that God took away without dying as a human.
That's right. Him and Dante Alighieri.
That's right. They never died as a person. They just took away like a spirituality. Boom.
Yeah. Dante Alighieri went to hell and to purgatory and came back.
And came back to tell people what it's all about.
Exactly. Wait, but I wanted to tell you something. I actually want to end the show with this, Mario, with you on the phone. So I want people to understand. When I was talking about Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that, a lot of people hated me. They're like, why do you support Donald Trump? Why? And you know what? I came with a revelation today. My own words in my heart. Why? And listen to what I have to say, Mario, and tell me what you think, okay?
Go ahead.
There's a small sect of people in America, from everywhere. Blacks, whites, Hispanics, Americans, Caucasians, whatever you want to call them, that have worked hard all their lives and are afraid of losing what they have. They're afraid of losing what they've worked for all their lives and what their parents and grandparents worked for. Those people that voted for Trump are people afraid to lose what they have left to the corporations, the conglomerates, the red tape, all the bureaucracy. And I think that those people got together. That's why Trump won most of the African American vote, the Asian vote, because people are a fear of losing what they have. And the reason why you have groups like Antifa and all those anti-Trump things that are going on is because those people, in my hearts, have nothing to lose. And they want the life handed to them on a silver platter. And hey, if I got nothing to lose, who cares? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the people that have something to lose were afraid of losing everything.
But I'm going to tell you and the listeners, first of all, I sent you a message. Mark my words, so everybody remembers what I tell them. Mm-hmm. Clinton and Obama are going to be in jail.
Who? What?
Clinton,
yeah,
family, and Obama are going to be in jail very soon.
Oh yeah, a lot of these people broke laws like you wouldn't. Left, right, center. It's called tyranny, Mario. You break the law, you go to jail. But if a government official does it, nothing happens.
But I'm telling you, he's going to bring it out, and people should understand. They hate you because you don't like Trump and what he's done in the past. I don't care what he's done. Mm-hmm. Nobody else does. But what he did is, I have to give him respect because whatever he said, he's doing. And people don't understand and comprehend to that. I don't know why. And I've never seen the CNN concentrate so much on him because he's helping the people. Mm-hmm. I watch The View. They make me sick. I feel like throwing my converter right through the TV because they're so anti and they're so for George Soros because George Soros is money is all over the place.
Yeah.
Helping. If you remember the riots they had before when he got in his presidency, George Soros was backing that up big time. I don't care anybody tells me, big time. Mm-hmm. And now they're having these protests. Okay, I understand this is terrible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not agreeing to anything about guns, but at the same time, people have to understand. You take guns away from countries that have had guns from the beginning, it becomes martial law. Because then the government takes over the whole country because the people don't have power anymore.
That's right.
That's what people don't understand. Why these people want to keep their guns. Most of them aren't troublemakers, not in the trouble with the law. They just want to protect what their constitution says. And
yeah, they're protecting what they've worked for and protecting what they've built.
What they built from their fathers, their forefathers before.
Right.
That's. And if you look at our country, if you ask a university graduate or anybody, and you ask them about the BNA Act, they don't even know how to answer. They've never been taught that. School is only there to teach you what they want to teach you. They're not going to teach you what you're supposed to know or the basics. Guys like me and you, the plumber and Walking Journey, all those guys that are listening today, we're the guys that go and do research that nobody looks at. So when you're talking to somebody, they think you're smart. No, I'm not smart. I just did my research. Same thing. The computer's right there.
No, I hear you. Yeah, it's there, open to the public. But unfortunately, with the ways we could connect with each other are so closer, but we're not revealing the facts. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
A lot of people are commenting saying, "Oh, is this a Trump supported website? Is this that?" No, we should. The president of the United States is playing a big role, and even if it was whoever was in charge, I just hope they do a good job. I really hope, because a lot of lives and a lot of people's wages and a lot of people's what they've built is on the line. And let's just pray that whoever's in charge makes the right decisions. You know what I'm saying?
I'm right behind you on that one. And before we go, I just want to tell the people, that's why I tell everybody, Israel is the richest country.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the most gas right now, natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
They're already selling it to Egypt and Jordan right now.
Okay.
Okay. Now, when they take military planes from the U.S., they get the F-35s and the F-16. Their technology is so advanced. They take it. They tell the Americans, "We want your planes." They take the shells. They don't want anything else, because they have all the technology that they put in those planes that are 10 times better than the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I know two guys that were Israeli soldiers back in Israel, and they told me, they said, the technology we have there is unbelievable. And I researched it. They're dead on.
Oh, yeah.
And their greenhouses. Their greenhouses are huge. All our fruits and vegetables, especially in Europe, that's where it comes from. That's where it all comes from. I was researching this all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it. But Mike, it's late. I got to get up early tomorrow.
Yes.
Say thank you, and I am going to call your show on the 4th, but I will give you, we have to talk before we go the 7th.
Yeah, we have to organize something on the 7th, so you guys are armed with some sort of literature for these people.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. But anyway, brother, have a good night, and happy birthday.
Oh, that's old. Don't bring that up. I don't want to be reminded that I'm 40 years old.
Hey, listen, if you have to use extra home hairspray to keep it up,
mm-hmm.
have a problem, but you're okay.
All right, Mario. And if I'm out in Ontario this summer, let's make sure we meet up, eh?
Oh, you better believe it, buddy. Big barbecue, buddy.
For sure. Okay.
Okay, buddy.
Good night.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Okay, guys, I'm unplugging the phones. I'm gonna go to sleep. I'm tired. It's been a long night. I've been on the air for 2.5 hours live. I'll chop this up. If anyone's attending this Real Estate Wealth Expo, I'd like to know if you're going there to know what's going on for real, and maybe think that there might be something that could help you, you know. Let us know what you're looking for in this thing. I'd like to know how this... It's just very interesting to see how this is coming together every year now. Anyways, guys, yeah, everyone's commenting in the comments section. You bring up Donald Trump, everybody wants to... Just pray that whoever's in charge just makes the right choices. That's all I have to say. Please make the right choices. That's all. You know, none of us are in it for this life to live a bad life. None of us are in it for this life to make other people's lives as miserable as possible. We're just here. We're renting time on this earth. Let's, make something of it. Anyways, thanks guys for everything, and thanks for the for all the positive comments. I appreciate it. Good night, people.